Hi, my name is Shea Wong. I'm a writer and lecturer here in the UK, and I talk a lot about, amongst other things, mental health, especially anti-stigma. Now, for the last few years, I've been lecturing about relationships and mental health, and since we're coming up to Valentine's Day, I thought it'd be a good idea to do a little truncated lecture to hopefully get some more information out there, give you guys some good ideas, or just kind of spread the word that, oh wow, people in mental health can have relationships. I know, it's exciting. Couple of things right quick before we get started. I'm speaking from the perspective of a white, straight, cis female in a long-term monogamous relationship. You may not be a white, straight, cis female in a long-term monogamous relationship, and that's okay. My perspective should never serve as your prescriptive. I'm going to say that again because it's actually the most important thing that I say in any lectures that I ever talk about. My perspective should never serve as your prescriptive, okay? Anytime I say something, if something jumps out at you and you think it's very interesting for you, I want you to take that idea, adjust it for your circumstances, and apply it to your life. Same thing when it comes to the concept of a relationship. A relationship is whatever you want it to be, any function or form that you want it to be. So you just take it, adjust the concept, and apply it to your concept of a relationship, okay? Oh, also, I'm not cosplaying as Bjork going to audition for The Lion King. I never do my hair, so there's that. Alright, for those of you who are big fans of the Greeks and or the Matrix, you might recognize this phrase. It is know thyself. One of the biggest problems that I had when I was diagnosed, this is years and years ago, is that there was no social media and there were no positive portrayals of people with mental health in the news and in sitcoms or in movies. And so I had to do a lot of educating myself as to what bipolar was and what it wasn't, and could I live with it, and could I actually be with other people, and all of these different things that I was so afraid of. Once I educated myself, the fear pretty quickly removed itself. And we find that with a lot of things. Once you get rid of the ignorance, the fear leaves pretty quickly afterwards. But it took me a long time. And even in the age of ignorance, or sorry, even in the age of information, I know it seems like ignorance sometimes, but it's information. It can be hard to get a good sense of what your mental health issue is and is not. So taking time to kind of educating yourself is one of the biggest things that you can do. As you can see on the slide, it's important to learn about your mental health issue and how those treatments intimately affect you. Medicines have side effects. Be aware. Think about how your mental health changes with the introduction of a new partner. And this isn't even just a romantic partner or a sexual partner. Your entire dynamic can change if you have a child or if you bring in a third person to your business partnership. Anything like that has to do with relationships, and that's where you have to think about your mental health as well. Also, think about your mental health has changed over the years, and it will continue to change. The bipolar disorder that I lived with when I was 28 is entirely different than the bipolar disorder I live with now, which is entirely different than the bipolar disorder I'll live with when I'm 50. I need to be aware of that and always be thinking of that. And finally, create channels of communication where your partner can learn from you. I had somebody say to me the last time I did this lecture in December, and they said, well, there's a guy that I really like, but I don't know if I want to tell him that I have a mental health issue because I'm afraid that he's going to go. And I said, well, here's the thing. At some point, you're going to have to probably tell them. And if they leave, you can't really do anything about that because your mental health issue also isn't going anywhere. So it's got to be something that your potential partner is as well educated as they can be so that they can make a well-informed decision about whether they want to stay in a relationship with you. It's an important thing. It's an important kind of first steps, but it's one that I think is really important to make. Oh, it's the season of the rom-coms, where everybody tells you that all you have to do is write the right song, or follow the right girl, or change your outfit for the right boy, and then you can have the perfect relationship, and you guys are going to be a perfect couple, and everything is going to be perfect. That's not how life works, no. There is no such thing as a perfect relationship, because people change, and people are different, and people are, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, people! Not equations to be solved. So it's keeping that in mind, that while the media likes to feed us adorable little stories about what a perfect relationship looks like, Don't compare yourselves to that. No one should compare themselves to that. But especially if you're dealing with a mental health issue where there's a lot of extra pressure that you want to be normal or perfect. It doesn't exist, so don't worry about it. Okay? Okay. I choose to laugh. I choose to laugh constantly at my bipolar. I choose to laugh at something that's so insignificant that it dances on a synapse. You know, somebody who's got cancer, you can find the cancer. Somebody who's got a broken arm, we can see it on an x-ray. My disease? No, it just feels like hiding in my brain somewhere. That is not a disease that I am going to, look fearfully at. So I choose to laugh because for me, funny is more important than fear. For you, it may be a completely different way, but I'm just letting you know, from my perspective, that's how I choose to kind of attack this disease with my partner. And I encourage my partner and my son to laugh at this illness because there are times when it's really funny and there are times when it's really ridiculous, and we have to learn to laugh at it so that we don't live in fear and our lives aren't taken up by fear of an illness. And finally, honesty. Honesty to me is really, really important. Honesty to myself and to my partner. And I have to recognize that, yeah, when you have a chronic illness, it can put a lot of pressure on a relationship, especially an invisible illness. That can put an enormous amount of pressure on a relationship. So I have to always be aware of the fact that there are extra pressures on my partnership with my husband, or on my business partnerships, or on my friendships that there might not normally be with other people. That's okay. I just need to be honest about it. I also need to be honest about the fact that, yeah, relationships can fail. And while a mental health issue might have been one of the factors contributing to the failure of a relationship, it's usually not the only factor, okay? Don't beat yourself up. If you have just gone through a breakup, if you've just gone through a difficult parting of the ways with someone, don't put all of the blame on your mental health issue. Usually there were other issues in the background that were kind of having a problem with it. So usually your mental health is not the sole factor. But if you are going through a bad time right now, and you know, Valentine's Day can be really tough, especially if you aren't with someone, or you'd like to be with someone and you've just stopped being with them, take some time for yourself. Have some self-care and plan. Really kind of, take time to let yourself heal after a breakup. Because we, as people who deal with mental health issues, need that extra time to really kind of take stock of what we want, who we want to be, who we want to be with, whether we want to be with them or not, and then move forward. It's a bit of a more laborious process if you have a mental health issue, but it's one that's worth doing so that when you get to the next relationship, if you choose to have a next relationship, you can be set up for success. So that was my super truncated lecture on relationships and mental health. That was really short. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up at Mrs. Shea Wong on Twitter, or you can contact me through sheawong.com. I hope that you have a fantastic Valentine's Day, whether you celebrate or not. It's still a nice day. Go see Deadpool. Go see Deadpool. It'll be fun. And I hope to talk to you soon. All right? Bye.